Hi guys, welcome to my study compass. In this video, I'll be walking you through the past paper, Math P2, Variant 2, February March 2020. Let's get started. From the list, write down a number that is a multiple of 3. From the given list, 12 is a multiple of 3. 3 times 4 gives us 12. Write down a number that is a cube number. From the given list, 8 is a cube number. 2 cubed gives us 8. Write down a number that is a prime number. From the given list, 5 is a prime number. It has only 2 factors, 1 and itself. Write down a number that is an irrational number. From the given list, root 7 is an irrational number. It cannot be expressed as a fraction. The number of people swimming in a pool is recorded each day for 12 days. Complete the stem and leaf diagram. The key has been given as 1/3 represents 13 swimmers. For 24, the first number is 2, which means we need to come to this line and write the number after 2, which is 4. For 45, the first number is 4, which means we need to come to this line and write the number after 4, which is 5. We need to repeat the same process for all the numbers. When we are done, we need to ensure that the numbers on each line are arranged in ascending order. Find the median number of swimmers. The median is the middle number. To get the position of the middle number, we apply the formula half n plus 1, where n in this case is 12. This gives us 6.5. This means the median is between the 6th and 7th numbers. From the stem and leaf diagram, the 6th number is 26 and the 7th number is 28. And so the median is 26 plus 28 divided by 2, which is equal to 27. Point A has coordinates 6, 4 and point B has coordinates 2, 7. Write AB as a column vector. AB is OB minus OA. OB is 2, 7 and OA is 6, 4. To get the resulting vector, we subtract corresponding elements in both vectors. So 2 minus 6 is -4 and 7 minus 4 is 3. So we have -4, 3. Find the interior angle of a regular polygon with 24 sides. Here is the formula for the size of an interior angle of a regular polygon. In this case, the number of sides n of the polygon is 24. When we type this into the calculator, we get 165 degrees. Without using a calculator, work out 15 over 28 divided by 4 over 7. You must show all your working and give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. In the first step, we have 15 over 28. Then we replace the division with multiplication. Then we bring in the reciprocal of 4 over 7, which is 7 over 4. 7 goes into itself 1 time and goes into 28 4 times. So for the numerator, 15 times 1 is 15, and for the denominator, 4 times 4 is 16. This cannot be simplified further, so that will be our final answer. The table shows the marks scored by 40 students in a test. Calculate the mean mark. The mean mark is equal to the sum of all the marks, which is 5 times 8 plus 6 times 5 plus 7 times 11 plus 8 times 7 plus 9 times 5 plus 10 times 4 divided by the total number of marks, which is 40. When we type this into the calculator, we get 7.2. The diagram shows a right-angled triangle. Calculate the area. Here is the formula for the area of a triangle. The base B of the given triangle is 10.8 centimeters and the perpendicular height h is 8.5 centimeters. This gives us 45.9 centimeters squared. Calculate the perimeter. The perimeter of the triangle is the distance around the shape of the triangle. First, we need to find the hypotenuse of the triangle. To get this, we apply the Pythagoras theorem to the triangle. This gives us h squared equals 8.5 squared plus 10.8 squared. When we make h the subject, this is what we get, which is equal to 13.7437 centimeters. So now the perimeter of the triangle is equal to 8.5 centimeters plus 10.8 centimeters plus 13.7437 centimeters. When we type this into the calculator, we get 33.0 centimeters rounded to 3 significant figures. Calculate the value of 2.3 times 10 raised to the power negative 3 plus 6.8 times 10 raised to the power negative 4. Give your answer in standard form. Before adding the numbers, we can first rewrite this number to have a power of negative 3. To do that, we multiply 10 raised to the power negative 4 by 10, which gives us 10 raised to the power negative 3. Since we multiply 10 raised to the power negative 4 by 10, we need to divide 6.8 by 10 to balance the expression. 6.8 divided by 10 gives us 0.68. So now when we add the two numbers, we have 2.3 plus 0.68 times 10 raised to the power negative 3. 2.3 plus 0.68 is 2.98. Since 2.98 is between 1 and 10, we can leave our final answer as 2.98 times 10 raised to the power negative 3. Factorize completely. 3x squared minus 12xy. The terms have a common factor of 3x. When we factor out 3x, we are left with x minus 4y. Expand and simplify. M minus 3 times m plus 2. To expand the brackets, each term in one bracket multiplies all the terms in the other bracket. So m times m is m squared. M times 2 is 2m. Negative 3 times m is negative 3m. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. 2m minus 3m is negative m. So we have m squared minus m minus 6. Sketch the graph of each function. The first function has been given as y equals x minus 3, which is a straight line. To draw a straight line, we need to have 2 points on the line. When we plug in x equals 0 into the equation, we get y equals negative 3. So we plot 0, negative 3. When we plug in y equals 0 into the equation, we get x equals 3. So we plot 3, 0. Now we connect the points with a straight line. For this function, we have y equals 1 over x. The graph of 1 over x is standard and you can memorize it. Or you can plot some sample points similar to what we did in the previous question. After plotting the sample points, you draw a smooth line passing through the points. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape B. When we look at shapes A and B, we can tell straight away that this is a rotation 90 degrees in the clockwise direction. So now we need to identify the center of rotation. For a 90-degree rotation, the way to determine the center of rotation is this. We draw a line to connect at least 2 corresponding points on both shapes A and B. Then we need to draw the perpendicular bisectors of these lines. The intersection point of the bisectors is the center of rotation. In this case, the point has coordinates 0, 2, and so the full description for the transformation is rotation 90 degrees clockwise about the center 0, 2. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape C. When we look at shape A and shape C, they have the same size, but their orientation is different, which means the transformation is either a reflection or a rotation. In this case, we see that shape C is a mirror image of shape A in the line y equals x. And so the full description for the transformation is reflection in the line y equals x. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape D. When we look at shape A and shape D, they do not have the same size. Each of the sides in shape D is half its corresponding side in shape A. This means the transformation is an enlargement by a scale factor of half. We have a positive scale factor for this enlargement because the two shapes have the same orientation. Now we need to find the center of enlargement. To get the center of enlargement, we connect at least two corresponding points on both shapes and find their intersection points. When we do this, we get the center of enlargement to be 4, 6. And so the full description for the transformation would be enlargement by a scale factor of half about the center 4, 6. The population of a town decreases exponentially at a rate of 1.7% per year. The population now is 250,000. Calculate the population at the end of 5 years. Give your answer correct to the nearest 100. In this case, we need to apply the compound or exponential formula. Since we are dealing with a decrease, we bring a minus here. Big A represents the final population value, which is what we are finding. Small a represents the initial population, which is 250,000. R is the annual rate, which is 1.7%, and T is the time duration, which is 5 years. When we type this into the calculator, this is what we get. We need to round this value to the nearest 100. So we look at the value in the hundredths position, which is 4. The value after 4, which is 6, is greater than 5. So we add 1 to 4, giving us 5. The numbers after 4 become 0. The zeros after the decimal points are insignificant. So we have 229,500 rounded to the nearest 100. Write the recurring decimal 0.26 as a fraction. You must show all your working. Let's call the recurring decimal x. When we multiply x by 10, this is what we get. And when we multiply x by 100, this is what we get. 10x and 100x have the exact same pattern after the decimal points, so we carry them to the next step by subtracting 10x from 100x. This gives us 90x equals 24. When we divide both sides by 90, we get x equals 24 over 90. 6 goes into 24 4 times and goes into 90 15 times. So we have 4 over 15. The box and whisker plot gives information about the height in centimeters of some plants. Write down the median. The line in the box gives us the median, and that is 11.5 centimeters. Find the range. The range is equal to the largest height, which is 14 centimeters, minus the smallest height, which is 2 centimeters. 14 minus 2 gives us 12. Find the interquartile range. The interquartile range is equal to the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. From the plot, the upper quartile is 13.5 and the lower quartile is 5. 13.5 minus 5 gives us 8.5. A, B, C, and D lie on the circle. PCQ is a tangent to the circle at C. Angle ACQ is 64 degrees. Work out angle ABC, given reasons for your answer. Based on the alternate segment theorem, these two angles must be equal. ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral. Opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral must add up to 180 degrees. So when we subtract 64 degrees from 180 degrees, we get angle ABC to be 116 degrees. Solve the simultaneous equations. You must show all your working. First, let's label the given equations. X has already been made the subject in equation 1. So when we put x in equation 2, this is what we have. When we expand 7 minus 3y squared, we get 49 minus 42y plus 9y squared. When we move all the terms to one side of the equation and group like terms, this is what we get. The terms have a common factor of 2. So when we divide through the equation by 2, we have 4y squared minus 21y plus 5 equals 0. We can solve for y using the factorization method. We can rewrite minus 21y as minus y minus 20y. For the first two terms, when we factor out y, we are left with 4y minus 1. And for the final two terms, when we factor out negative 5, we are left with 4y minus 1. This can be rewritten as 4y minus 1 times y minus 5 equals 0. When we equate 4y minus 1 to 0, we get y equals 0.25. And when we equate y minus 5 to 0, we get y equals 5. Now that we have the values for y, we need to find their corresponding x values by plugging in the x values into any of the equations. Let's pick equation 1. When y equals 0.25, x is 7 minus 3 times 0.25, which is equal to 6.25. When y equals 5, x is 7 minus 3 times 5, which is equal to negative 8. A is the point 35 and B is the point 1, negative 7. Find the equation of the line perpendicular to AB that passes through the point A. Give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. All we need to do is to find the values of m and c and plug in these values into y equals mx plus c. First, let's find the gradient of line AB by applying the gradient formula. This gives us negative 7 minus 5 divided by 1 minus 3, which is equal to 6. The product of the gradients of line AB and the line perpendicular to AB must be equal to negative 1. This gives us the gradient of the perpendicular line to be negative 1 over 6. We've been told that the perpendicular line passes through the point A. So to get C, we plug in the value of m and the coordinate of A into y equals mx plus c. This gives us 5 equals negative 1 over 6 times 3 plus c. Negative 1 over 6 times 3 is negative 1 over 2. When we add 1 over 2 to both sides, we get c equals 5.5. So we have y equals negative 1 over 6x plus 5.5. A car travels at a constant speed. It travels a distance of 146.2 meters correct to one decimal place. This takes 7 seconds correct to the nearest second. Calculate the upper bound for the speed of the car. To correct the distance to one decimal place, we have 146.2 meters. Then we bring in plus and minus 0.1. Then we divide 0.1 by 2. To correct the time to the nearest second, we have 7 seconds. Then we bring in plus and minus 1 second. Then we divide 1 second by 2. Here is the formula for finding average speed. In this case, we want to find the upper bound for the speed of the car. So that will be equal to the upper bound of the distance divided by the lower bound of the time. The upper bound of the distance is 146.2 plus 0.1/2 meters, and the lower bound of the time is 7 minus 1/2 seconds. When we type this into the calculator, we get 22.5 meters per second. On the diagram, sketch the graph of y equals cos x for x is greater than and equal to 0 degrees and less than and equal to 360 degrees. Y equals cos x is a standard graph you can memorize. You can also plot some sample points to help draw the graph. When x is 0, y equals cos 0 is 1. When x is 90 degrees, y equals cos 90 is 0. When x is 180 degrees, y equals cos 180 is negative 1. When x is 270 degrees, y equals cos 270 is 0. And when x equals 360 degrees, y equals cos 360 is 1. After plotting these sample points, we connect the points with a smooth line. Solve the equation 4 cos x plus 2 equals 3 for x is greater than and equal to 0 degrees and less than and equal to 360 degrees. First, let's make cos x the subject. When we subtract 2 from both sides of the equation, we get 4 cos x equals 1. When we divide both sides by 4, we get cos x equals 1/4. So now we need to find alpha, the reference angle that will help us find all the possible values of x in the given range. We get alpha by taking cos inverse of the positive value of 1/4, which is the same as 1/4. This gives us 75.5 degrees, rounded to 1 decimal place. So now we draw the quadrants and measure alpha from the horizontal axis in the quadrants where cos x is positive. When we go round the quadrant the first time, x equals alpha, which is 75.5 degrees. When we go round the quadrant the second time, x equals 360 degrees minus 75.5 degrees, which is equal to 284.5 degrees. X squared minus 12x plus a equals x plus b all squared. Find the value of a and the value of b. When we expand x plus b squared, we get x squared plus 2bx plus b squared. So now, when we compare the terms on both sides of the equation, we see that for the coefficients of the x terms, 2b must be equal to negative 12. When we divide both sides by 2, we get b equals negative 6. For the constant terms, we see that a equals b squared. We found b to be negative 6. So a is negative 6 all squared, which is equal to 36. xy equals 3a plus 2b and zy equals 6a plus 4b. Write down two statements about the relationship between the points x, y, and z. We see that zy, which is 6a plus 4b, is 2 times xy. This means the points x, y, and z are collinear. This also means x is the midpoint of zy. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. See you in the next video. Bye guys.